Oh, help me, DrSayus.
I'm not going to read the whole magazine for you, otherwise I will be here all day. What I will do is I will show you the highlights, what give this magazine its charm. We'll start from the editor, Lee Nutter. Excite Truck. Now there's two words you've not thought belong together, like jade, goody and intellectual. They at first seem completely at odds with each other. Trucks are big, they're slow and they're dull. Again, like jade, goody, and yet no two words better sum up this. Blink and you'll be sucked in liquefied food through an intravenous tube while your fractured cranium leaks vital life-giving claret because it's so incredibly fast game. It's another great issue of Ohm, and also my last as editor. Chandra the hair nair will be squeezing his ample behind into the hot seat next issue, and trust me, he has some great things lined up for you over the next few months. So thanks for reading, and be sure to keep it Ohm in your monthly Nintendo fix. Is it a silent M? Is it on? I always thought it was Ohm. So let's read a bit about the team. Chandra, specialist in style, not content with sporting elaborate hair and face fuzz. Chandra will dedicate 2007 to walking part of the Ohm office into a walk-in wardrobe. This year's look, hard rocker meets Edwardian dandy. Tom East, specialist in world domination. This month, mild-mannered Tom surprises us all when he announced that this year he plans to buy a small island and holds the world at ransom. What's your threat, Tom? I'm working on it. Be afraid. World domination, what is this? Is he Tom Nook from Animal Crossing? Then we have Charlotte Martin, specialist in dedication. This month, Charlotte has vowed that in this year she'll put 110% into everything she does in the office. More nagging, more morning tardiness, and more slightly too loud laughing at stupid jokes. God help us. I don't know if they're still allowed to talk like that, or would feminists jump down their throat now that the media has all turned left. Then we have Chris Scullen, specialist in nostalgia. This month, Chris has promised to stand by his new resolution to buy and play a completion every single game on the Virtual Console. No, you're right, he doesn't get out much, does he? So they all have their own quirks and personalities. So I'll just go through the different sections of the magazine. So they have certain parts of the magazine just bumming and blowing about how great the Nintendo sales are. It's not really worth reading this part, to be honest. They do show different game announcements, like Prince of Persia. They do have some interesting perspectives. One of their team is in Japan, and then they have another guy who's American who has like a small column as well. Here you can create a very tacky remote holder for your Wii remote, and I did this and it didn't last very long. But what do you expect? It gives kids something to do, doesn't it? So it did the job and entertained me. And it has the Smash Dojo. This was when the Smash Dojo began with Super Smash Bros. Brawl. They have a little quiz and just little tidbits. And they have this section, what do you mean you've never played Toe Jam and Earl? To be fair, the game wasn't well known at the time this was written. I would say it's a lot well known among the nerd community now. In Chris's section, I'll do a Scottish voice. There's a middle leg joke here, but we're too much off for that. That's my best Scottish voice, I'm sorry. Earl's Hippocratic jiggling was too much for the poor impressionable lass. Here's more bumming and blowing about the Nintendo consoles, the official sales charts. It's not really something I care about, but you can see here that some games got rated 70%, but they still got like a bad description under them. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue, mediocre creature helping RPG. At least they had the balls not to give a Nintendo game a 90%. Then they had a SpongeBob Super Sponge, 70%. A bit of a damp squib. Bratz Rock Angel got 76. These poor spelling lasses aren't exactly good role models. Simpsons Road Rage 72. Time for our monthly Simpsons quote, Duff man, can't breathe. So yeah, a bit shocking. If you play one game today, then play We Play, written by Chandra Hare. I don't think you need to convince us, Mr. Hare, because I'm sure most people bought that game because it came with a free Wiimote. Then we have the official release dates. These were hit and miss because developers change their release dates all the time. I remember looking at this going, oh yeah, WarioWare or whatever is coming out at this date. Then you get the next issue and it says a different date, or it says to be continued. There was a good amount of games in the to be continued, and you thought, oh yeah, they're gonna come to the Wii, and they never did. Like Project Hammer, you can see there. Again, it's another page that is kind of pointless. Then we have Charlotte. She has a page talking about Chibi Robo Park Patrol on the DS. I don't know if that got good reviews or not. I'm not really a fan of this section. The official Nintendo Magazine Readers Award. It's like the Game Awards, only it's for Nintendo. Publisher of the Year. You've put Nintendo on there, and it's the Nintendo official magazine. Was there really any doubt that Nintendo wasn't going to win that? They should have put Nintendo off that just to give everyone else a chance. Even Nintendo had a bad year. I'm pretty sure they would have got that. Innovation of the Year. And obviously the Wiimote's going to get this one. Come on. Multiplayer Game of the Year. Unsung Hero. Most Addictive Game. Newcomer of the Year, Soundtrack of the Year, Character of the Year, and then you have Game of the Year and Game to Watch in 2007. I would do it so only one game would be allowed to be in contention for one award. They have Twilight Princess in Soundtrack and Game of the Year, and yes, it may deserve both of those, but if they had limited it to just one category, they would have had a chance to promote more games, because Twilight Princess isn't the only game that had a great soundtrack. There's other games too. It seems a bit limiting. It's not how I personally would have done it, but then you probably would have had the Nintendo fanboys going, oh, Zelda should have got the best soundtrack and the best Game of the Year. It's like, you can't win either way. It's just my personal preference. Obviously you have your advertisements. It's quite a clever wee advert of the Elebits trying to plug in the European plug. The Americans will look at that and go, what the hell's that? And then we have incoming games. Final Fantasy 12 Reverent Wings. 12 games down and the fashions are still dodgy. Undercover dual motives. Nice to see a country house in game for once. None of this dungeon nonsense. And it's good to see a smartly dressed character. Not enough ties these days. Forget Spitfires and submarines. This is how the war is won. With a pea shooter. Look, it makes sense when you're playing the game. Are they old enough to be wielding those swords? They don't look a day over 4. Chris, more Japanese for you. He's talking about his hair. Oh, shush now. Coming soon, we have Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, March of the Minis. They're a bit too hand-holdy, some of these things. There's a section here where it shows how Mario goes down on the block. Here's an infamous one, Wing Island. This wee high flyer could be a real high flyer. Well, obviously it wasn't, because you look at the reviews online, it scores an average in the 40s. Of all the Wii launch titles released exclusively in Japan, Wing Island is the one that perhaps has us the most interested. Imagine if these two approached you in real life. It would be a simply terrifying experience. About them holding their hands out. Not really. How it's shaping up. The fact that it's the closest thing we get in a while to Pilot Wings Wii should be reason enough to get excited about Wing Island. But it's also a fantastic game in its own right, with a wide variety of missions, amazing scenery, and generally relaxing gameplay. All we need now are those high-strength air sickness tablets and a natty pair of flying goggles. What a load of bollocks. But obviously they have to sell the game. The Sims on Wii. Meet your new best friends. I know some people like this game, some people don't. I tried playing it, I just got bored of it, but simulations are not really my type of game, so I'm not the best person to talk about that. What's going on in that bottom left corner of this picture? Avert your eyes, Modestritos. Kurupika. It's a game I've always had my eye on, but I've just never had a chance to play it. It's Super Dog, Cat, Panda, Pig, UFO Ball. As much as we like Super Monkey Ball on the Wii, we can't help that it's just another Super Monkey Ball game.
According to GCSE physics, a dog's head should be easily bounced off the road and into a cannon.
I actually knew a guy you need to talk like that. Come on, we've all tilted a conveyor belt to help a decapitated cat's head roll over it before. Pray the Stars. A lot of these games I've never actually heard of. It looks interesting. It looks very Japanese. That vortex effect means you're sucking up stuff like a vacuum cleaner. Greedy bastard. Is he not even going to put any sauce on that? It'd be terribly dry and woody. Do you think the city planners ever account for something like this happening? The team of DIY SOS were not expecting this when they arrived at the first day filming. Back in the good old days, whenever a new game only cost you 35 quid, as opposed to being 60 now, they tried to entice you to subscribe to their magazine, and they would give you something free. In this case, they give you a wee bag. When I subscribed to them, I got one, but I subscribed at a different time, and it was a different color bag. And here we are joined by Mr. Potato Head playing the DS, 42 first time classics. Remember my uncle was obsessed with that. I was a kid, so it wasn't really my cup of tea. 25 greatest Nintendo moments. Let's take a look. The easiest boss battle ever. It's the build up to possibly one of the most important boss battles ever. It sees Jim make the first move by grabbing hold of Bob. Out of his natural environment, it looks like Bob could be struggling here. Oh, hang on a minute. It looks like he can't really be, can he? Oh, he has! It would appear that Jim has hit his opponent. And so, one of Jim's arch-rivals is defeated in the simplest manner. The cerebral bore, it would lock onto a target, drill into the skull, and cause all sorts of mess to stream out of the head. I don't think Nintendo would be too keen making a game like that. Then we have the Mega Mushroom, Mr. Game & Watch and Super Smash Bros, the Death Battlestar, Del Lago Attacks. I played Resident Evil 4. To me, that wasn't the standout moment. I thought the more standout moment was like some of the main bosses that you fought, like the big guy, and then you had the wee guy, and then you had the guy with the weird arm. Not describing them very well. The slick flick, turning the tables. When Donkey Kong Jr. had to save his dad. The only game in Mario was a bad guy, I think. Touch of Class. We enjoyed this game so much that it inspired us to spend our lunchtimes flicking elastic bands at Chandra and Lee. So the third dimensions. This was from sprite-based graphics to 3D vector graphics. It might look basic now, but it was revolutionary a decade ago. The Birdman cometh, Pilot Man 64. Samus Uncovered. You always hear retro guys on YouTube going on about this. Oh, I couldn't believe whenever Samus was a woman. I need to do Chris's voice. Because I know Chris wrote this. We know we don't usually put in pictures of books and redheads, but whoa, hey lads. Do the whisper, because that's all I hear whenever he's on video. Capture your first Pokemon. The fast swing and wee spots. Walk the Dinosaur, Master the Hadouken, the Red Shell, the Master Sword, Shake, Rumble, and Barrel Roll, the Warp Zone. What's this? GoldenEye. Getting the Shuttle and Tetris. Mario Takes to the Skies. Super Mario Bros. 3, it's the best fucking game ever, man. According to a lot of Americans. The Temple of Time and Ocarina of Time. Yeah, it was pretty iconic. And Mario's Head in Mario 64. Then we have Nintendo. God damn, I thought I came up with that. This Nintendo accessories are available exclusively in Game Station stores. Oh, if I had had the money back in these days. I actually like the window signs. Baby on board. There's Bite Me, and my favorite, my other car is a Yoshi. Mr. Potato Head is accompanying us with the most important section. 100% official, 100% honest. Expect nothing but clear, fair reviews from our experts. Obviously, a review is subjective. It's the individual who does the review. Whether they get persuaded of a publication or not is unknown. It just says what they've all been playing pretty much. I don't know like why Charlotte's like at the front of the cover, but she's not in the review section. Instead we have Mike Jackson, not to be confused with Freaky Jeeky's Michael Jackson. So Mike Jackson is reviewing Excite Truck. Every review it shows the Wiimote and the nunchuck, and it shows what exactly you will be using, and it also shows the reviewer them holding the controller, so that's pretty good. It shows like this is what you're going to be doing when you're playing the game. It's not a bad idea. I think maybe magazines should do that. I'll get the Pastoral Gamer to take over this one because he loves his cars. We tend to go for cheaper tires because we don't get half through them quickly. Swift players heading for the drink don't look good, hey. This isn't simulation truck or realistic truck. The moment you blast off from the starting lane, you know why it's called Excite Truck. These trucks shift so fast you'll barely be able to shift in the road ahead of you. Complete disregard for unrealistic handling. Gravity of the laws of physics. Excite Truck clearly has one aim.
to excite. There's a nice wee picture there of the wee moat getting blown over by a tractor. It's good to climb up mountains, but there's no boot space or cup holders, you know. That's what I look for whenever I'm driving my tractor. Make sure I have all my compartments, because you're going to be there for a long time, hike. You battle over racers, parts of the scenery falls on the road ahead. Excite drunk is non-stop carnage. Yeehaw! It's no joke, We particularly like this effect, watching your nitros fire while they're underwater. Twist the wee moat backwards to make your jump last a wee bit longer. We'd like a volcano, please. You spend more time in the air than on the ground. This wanna be flying game. You boost jump as much as you like, but you had to keep an eye on your temperature. It's like burnout, you know. The open environments let you wander way off course. Watch out for those trees now. Trucks don't float, nor do they work so well on their side. Your engine temperature stays low when you're in the water, so let the nitros rip and check those reflections. Look how far you can see. Some jumps are so high you can see the whole race course. I don't recall ever that happening, but take your word for it now. That was the Great Wall of China. Time your jump and you can race along it if you like. Just doing the regular jumps for losers. You want a turbo jump if you want to be our friend. Some of the trucks have names. Rugged Rag sounds a bit smutty. We like that. Don't worry, plunging in the water isn't as suicidal as it looks. Shallow enough you can keep on driving now. Very nice to be complimented on pragging your truck. Remember the homemade amphibious cars and Top Gear. This is better. Nintendo verdict, so fast you won't believe it. Unique environments, unique gameplay. Disappointing multiplayer, shadow single player mode. Okay, so Excite Truck skips a few beats along the way in terms of multiplayer modes, but at its core it's a fantastic racer, stunning speed, awesome gameplay.
Thanks very much, Pastoral Gamer.
No problem, lad, anytime.
The good thing is at least half the pages is taken up by screenshots and the other half is text. 84%. Pretty accurate score. Magical Star Sign, Annihilation Protocols? Well, guessing that is in code for warm welcome and some tea.
It's those RPG types at the door again, dear.
Pretend they're right. They're weird.
3 eyes, all the better to see you with, and then shoot you into a messy heap. This is the rocket you crashed. The whole crashing part wasn't kind to the rocket. Helpful comment there. Bet he's a mechanic. He'll be sucking air through his teeth next, telling you that he can't get parts until the middle of next week. Bit too realistic there, guys. Get a belt and that fur could pass as a lovely fur coat. The Japanese always showing off the ladies' bits. Nothing ever changes. Star Wars Lethal Alliance. Surprisingly good low-key Star Wars action, and they give it 75%. They didn't say it was shit. But why did they say back that the SpongeBob game got 70 and that was shit? Who knows. Is this what Justin Timberlake meant by sexy back? We doubt it. Ariana's what's known as feisty. See, she can beat up aliens and everything. She runs, she punches, and she talks. She really is a modern woman, that Rihanna. At last, a proper Star Wars character. Top screen, usually this displays the progress of the highly sexy and full of attitude Rhiannon Saren. Look at her, she even stands with attitude. What a gal. Some story development. Him with the gun is cross with you, the one with the horns. Rihanna is intended to whip boys into a combined Star Wars sexy girl frenzy. Castlevania Portrait of Ruin. I've never played a Castlevania game, I've always wanted to. If this skeleton keeps chucking bones, he'll be armless soon. Do you ever get that feeling that a huge blue beast from hell is standing right behind you? There's a guy round here masquerading as a hairdresser. Look what he did to me. Even Tom's getting in on the act here. He is reviewed super fruitful. He's been given the short end of the stick with this one. How do you like them apples, Tom? Is this game a covert attempt to get us eating more fruit? We would like to play Biscuitfall. Yeah, so it got 65%. It looks like a game you could play on your mobile phone. Even back then, they even say, even at £25, it's a bit overpriced. Just a bit. I think £5 would have been overpriced for that game. There's Chris showing how it's done with Ice Age 2, The Meltdown. You like collecting acorns? It's your unlucky day. Disturbed Dago and he'll rip you a new one, no prodding with a sharp stick either. Yes, we know, it looks a bit green for an ice age. That's global warming for you. Running away, you'll do that quite a lot in this game.
Playing a coward's no fun. So I got 50%. It's obviously a shovelware game, not worth talking about. I forgot to mention, they also have a wee section at the top right saying what type of game it is. So you have action, adventure, RPG, whatever. Nice little touch. Children of Mana. The mana tree is angry again. The first mission makes you realize this is just a hack and slash adventure. Strange, it's got 3 heads but only 1 national insurance number. I thought this magazine was aimed at kids or teenagers. Tess may not have powers to offer, but she does have the phone number of an excellent stylist. Just looking at these screens is clear that online multiplayer would have been great fun. With so many characters on screen, big battles can become an impressive sight. We admit that when these consist mostly of snowmen, it isn't quite so impressive. Chris informed us that this is what is known in Scotland as a rammy. A big brawl, basically. Ah, it looks just like Lord of the Rings. Without the rings. Or the lords. The attempt to cover Girls Aloud in blackcurrant jelly had proved to be a resounding success. Throughout the game, you'll come across all manner of gems that power up your hero and increase their stats. You don't get that in an Argus Elizabeth Duke collection. It doesn't take a scientist to work out that snowman plus big ball of fire equals sludge man. You might not think snowmen are dangerous, but don't forget the Frosty Ride in 1872. That was the last time Charlie Dimmock decided to put steroids in her watering can. For a handheld gamer who wants quick fix adventuring, Children of Mana ticks all the boxes, but if you're after something with a little more depth, you'll need to look elsewhere. Star Fox Command. Nope, still not Lilac Wars. Are they not getting our letters? To the Americans, that is what we called Star Fox 64 over here, before the 3DS remake, where everywhere it was just called Star Fox 64. The graphics are lovely. Not that it's slow enough for you to notice. There's something fishy going on here. Ha! See what I did there? When asked who his favourite band was, Fox wasted no time giving his answer. Huh, take that! Per Tom always gets the short end of the stick. Another arcade game with Gottlieb Pinball Classics. Move both the controllers to one side to give the table a nudge and hopefully keep your ball in play. We're assured by our pinball playing mates that this isn't cheating. Ah, the power of persuasion. See, you thought this was going to be bowling, but no, it's still pinball. Don't look into the vortex in the middle of this table. We did almost sucked into the future. Marty, my boy. We imagine diehard pinball fans in the 50s aren't typically Wii owners. Well, if they're still alive, that is. With 8 classic tables, this is a hardcore experience for pinball fans. While anyone can have some fun here, the likes of Wii Play and Wii Sports offer more entertainment. Splinter Cell Double Agent. We can assure you it's not about undercover conjointed twins. How embarrassing. You turn up the secret mission and your partner's wearing the same thing. Aiming at enemies is a simple case of pointing with the remote. However, if Agent Fisher isn't standing perfectly still, he's likely to miss, which can be a bit annoying in a gunfight. We're sure there's plenty of scope for a brilliant caption competition of this picture. What is Sam saying to this guy? Give me all your money. He'll never call me a slaphead again, you mark my ruddy words. Curses, thought Sam as he forgot his burglary alarm code again. Developers can't bolt on some Wiimote and nunchuck controls and expect to make the game better. When I first got this magazine as a boy, I had a bit of a shock when I realized this page had highly attractive women in their underwear. I was glad my mother did not know about this, or else I probably wouldn't have been able to get any more magazines. GT Pro Series. Lee attempts to slide his Mitsubishi Evo around this hairpin bend without slamming into the wall. And yes, he shouldn't be wearing a scarf indoors when the heating's on. Some of these cars look more suited to the school run than a racing game. Move over, Granddad. This tries to mix Gran Turismo with Need for Speed, but does neither very well. The handling's passable. Let this racer pass you by. How big is your Nintendo brain? What is the name of Shigeru Miyamoto's Nintendo? What game are you playing if Tom has just bought your turnips for 269 bells? Which Nintendo 64 game completes the following song lyrics? Revenge is a kiss, this time I won't miss. Now I've got you in my sight. This is the artist's impression of which Nintendo console. What do you do when starting a Nintendo game for the first time? Nintendo owns a part of which American baseball team? Which of these dogs is the odd one out? Seeking friendship. Outgoing American guy seeks friendship
friends around the world to enjoy new ways to play. Interests include kicking ass, taking names, and big damn trucks. Who am I? Which Nintendo console was nicknamed the handbag? What is Princess Peach worrying about? Spiraling energy bills? Subsidence in her castle walls? Dry flyaway hair? Which was the first product manufactured by Nintendo? Batteries, playing cards, dominoes. Name the 2 arcade games that brought Nintendo back to the arcades in 1994. Mario debuted in which Nintendo arcade game? Good morning, Mr. Chain. This is your alarm call. What game? How many Pokemon games are there at the point of this magazine, 2007? Which development team made cookie hits such as Kirby series and Super Smash Bros? Game and which one of these is not a real Kirby game? From memory, write your Mario Kart DS friend code in the space below. Well, even if I did know that, I wouldn't write it down because I would not want to defile the magazine. This is an artist's impression of the controller that was used in which Nintendo console. This Japanese Nintendo employee designed the Game Boy and has since had a game named after him. Who is it? Which famous Game Boy game have we drawn here? Which Nintendo console was codenamed Dolphin? If you're running through Leaf Storm, Water Palace and Mirage Road, which game character are you? Sonic? What the hell is this? Sega, Namco and Nintendo teamed up to create what piece of arcade hardware? Which Hollywood legend played the part of King Koopa in Super Mario Bros. Movie? Captain Falcon races in which series of games? Which of the following quotes comes from reviews of the Super Mario Bros. Movie? It's a dog, it'll baffle kids, bore adolescents and depress adults. Some scenes are so haphazardly directed it's hard to tell what's going on. It is in Super Mario Bros. Persistent celebration of its own utter brainlessness that it becomes incredibly annoying. What do the following stand for? Which of these is not a Wii channel? Which one of these is not a Mario Sports spin-off? Complete the Mario Kart sequence. Mushroom, flower, star, bongos, monkeys, bananas, Japanese pop music. What game is this? The secret character in the GameCube version of Soul Calibur 2. In which month does Animal Crossing Wild World's Acorn Festival take place? In the 90s, the Nintendo cartoon Captain N hit TVs. The members of the N team were Captain N, Princess Lana, Duke the Dog, Mega Man, Simon Belmont, and what is the name of the cute orange rabbit that appears in the GBA exclusive Sonic Adventure 2? When is Shigeru Miyamoto's birthday? No idea. How much will an SNES game cost you in Wii points on Nintendo's Virtual Console download service? Well, it doesn't exist anymore. Gruntilda Winky Bunyan is a character from which Nintendo 64 game? Has developer Rare made anything decent for Nintendo since Perfect Dark on the Nintendo 64? How many balloons do you start with in NES game Balloon Fight? Which one of these is not a Metroid game? In which year was Nintendo founded? Splendid Simon Spear. In which GameCube game does the Poltergeist 3000 appear? Project Nitro would go on to become which Nintendo console? Which town simulator appeared on Nintendo's ill-fated N64 upgrade, the 64 Double D? I got my score of 32, which just about puts me into the third bracket. Well done, you're in the Premier League of Nintendo fans. You can identify game cartridges by the feel of their labels and know what the plastic of an SNES smells like. Congratulations. Thanks very much, I think. Here is an advert of Nintendo Gamer, and I wish I knew about Nintendo Gamer. I was clueless about it. The reason being that I live in a rural area, so if you could find a Nintendo magazine in a shop, consider yourself lucky. I could occasionally see the official Nintendo magazine. I could never see Nintendo Gamer, and it's a shame because I really like the humor in their sequel magazine. Here we have a game guide of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. I do not like these game guides because I believe that you should just play the game and learn how to play it from that, and there maybe is certain parts of the game where you need help, but not the amount of detail that they're giving you here. The only thing I like about it is they've drawn like a map of the whole area of the game and they've numbered it and tell you what it's called. That's pretty interesting. Aside from that, no, and unfortunately they had this same walkthrough in a couple of issues in a row. This young lady is quite mad. Loves bugs, she does. Hina's cute, even if she reeks of bass. There's also a game guide on Red Steel. Again, it's definitely not needed. Was a white suit really the most practical outfit? And another game guide on Star Fox Command. Too many game guides. And we have the directory and the letters. To be fair to these guys, they were pretty good at picking out interesting letters. In the pink. Everyone's talking about how hard it is to get hold of a Wii unless you pre-ordered a machine 7 years ago. But I've walked about 3 miles today trying to find a pink DS for my wife, but can't find one anywhere. And not just the game shops, but even some of the places where you wouldn't think to look have sold out of the pink DS. I've had to give up and get her something else, jewelry since you ask, and I'll just have to hope that I can get one in time for Valentine's Day in February, unless you guys have a pink DS I could have. Chancer. What are you saying exactly? We only have the really masculine black and white ones in office. Wait a minute, Chandler has a pink one. Family misfortunes. 1 week ago, my cousin's family was breaking apart. His dad had left home and his parents had got divorced. When he got the Wii, he invited his dad to come round and have a go. But when he arrived, all he got was an evil stare from his ex-wife. My cousin managed to persuade them both to have a game of Wii Sports Tennis against each other. They both decided to have a go, and within an hour of playing, his dad and his mom were smiling and laughing with each other. They are now getting married again. Utterly false, we're sure, but a charming story nonetheless. Bit of a cold response, but okay, I guess it's true. Is it just me, or all these people who are claiming to have accidentally broke their televisions with the Wiimote are either A, incredibly stupid, or B, lying their faces off? I've been playing my Wii for about 2 weeks now, racking up dozens of hours of playtime in Wii Sports and Red Steel. Not once has the remote slipped out of my hand. Not once! But if it did somehow slip out of my hand, I'm sure the Wii strap could take the strain. Oh, I'm sure it could. What makes it worse is this lot blame Nintendo for the damage they've caused for their own stupidity. How dare they blame Nintendo? It's like blaming Ford if you drop your keys down the drain, when you should be blaming yourself for being such an idiot. These people need rounding up and dumping in a secure center where they can no longer cause harm to themselves, their property, or other people. We need protection from these idiots. Well said, and here's another one. I'm writing to tell you about a problem I found with the Wii. I got mine on launch day and was really happy about the first 2 days, but then I found out I was playing games like Wii Sports and the remote kept flying out of my hand. Luckily, the first few times I had the strap around my wrist, but then the next time it happened I forgot to attach the strap, and so the remote flew across the room and broke on the wall. I had to go out and buy Wii Play just to get another remote. Has this happened to any of our readers? No, but there's already a conspiracy afoot. Crackpot Corner. Somebody is annoyed that the team is not wearing the wrist straps. This leads me to a very odd conclusion. You're conspiring against Nintendo. You're brainwashing people into not using their consoles properly, so they injure themselves and sue Nintendo. I find it suspicious that the writers of the official Nintendo magazine want Nintendo to go out of business. And I'm watching you now. I know where you work and you can't escape me. Either that or you're all homicidal maniacs who want people to get hurt. Still trying to work out if whether this is serious or not. Ray of Light. Rayman DS deserves to be in your rated section. The platforming rivals Mario 64 DS and the controls are much better. It's a shame everything is turd colored. Brilliant! Your name, not the letter, that is. The letter's rubbish. Shame on you, Ohm. I was looking forward to getting my Nintendo calendar with issue 12, but it had no loop, so I couldn't hang it up, and on every page there was a shameless advertisement for a subscription to this great but shameless magazine. Although there was one good point. You forgot that anyone with a Wii doesn't need a calendar because you can post reminders on the machine. I've already posted Ohm, bring out the shameless calendar as a heads up for next year. As you say, you were looking forward to the calendar. Imagine how annoyed you'd be if it wasn't in the bag at all. Think on award corruption. I can't believe you missed Metroid Prime 3 Corruption off the Game of the Year in 2007 category of your Readers Award. This is a game I'm looking forward to more than anything else, and you left it off and got Sonic average. Resident Evil, haven't seen anything on it, so how can we look forward to it? Super Mario Galaxy, fair enough. Smash Bros. Brawl, I don't care. Blasphemy. And Phantom Hourglass, about 3 years away. I've enclosed my entry form anyway, but I've crossed the other games off and written Metroid in instead. And we've had to throw your entry form away because that's being incorrectly completed. That's life. Just stop it. Why did you do a game guide for The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess? The best part of playing is exploring the surroundings and discovering things for yourself. The sense of surprise and the feeling of achievement when you do things is largely spoiled by your guide. You should have waited at least 3 months to give people the time to explore all the dungeons properly for themselves. I hope you don't keep doing this. Turn to page 94 for part 2 of Twilight Princess Guide. Oh wait, it's me life.
I've been thinking about the Wii a lot lately, and I thought up a game. It's called Wii RPG. Basically, it's like The Sims, with each person uploading their Mii to the game and then visiting friends, shops or things in town, and making money by getting a job. You should have parties in your house and invite your friends, computer, human. You should get married, have kids, own pets, make enemies and tons of other things. I think it'd be a great seller. Get married? Now why would you want to go and ruin a perfectly good idea by doing that?
Maybe Nintendo stole this guy's idea. I'm a big fan of the magazine and have all the main issues of Ohm and special editions. I have enjoyed Nintendo games and most of the consoles and handheld machines. My other great hobby is the unicycle. Sometimes I do both at the same time. I am enclosing a picture of me on my giraffe unicycle, which is 5 feet tall. It's almost as tall as me, while playing the Game Boy SP. I can't wait to get my Wii. I'm really excited about Twilight Princess, especially Foreign Woods. Cool! Any other readers able to perform circus tricks while playing Nintendo handhelds? Ever played your DS inside the mouth of a Bengal tiger? Being fired out of a cannon while playing your SP? Then we want to hear from you! Photographic evidence is required. Please seek permission before inserting your face into a Bengal tiger's jaw. I'm surprised that letter didn't get the best letter. In fact, the letters that they chose for the best letters are probably the worst letters, to be honest. Obviously they put effort into it, but it's just very fanboy. There's no humor to it. It's pretty predictable. It's letter of the month. I got my Wii, amazing. Love Zelda. He created me characters of his friend and family. It's the most sensible letter, but I like the funny letters. The letters on the first page are the best. In a word, if Ohm was on fire, what would the one thing that you would have saved? Chandra's styling products. Chandra probably wrote that himself. Is Paper Mario still coming out for the GameCube? I haven't got a Wii! No. What was the best thing you got for Christmas? I got a Wii. 7 days off work. I saw Chris at the Wii launch at HMV. He's quite short, isn't he? Yes. Hey, don't be dissing on short guys. This page just talks about the website, which doesn't exist anymore. Just a bit of bumming and blowing, but they have a member of the month, Sean 2005. He had an idea of creating an online Ohm radio station, what we would call a podcast nowadays. Not only did he come up with the idea, but he put a lot of work into it up and running, and has even set up a schedule for the forum's DJs. Good work, Sean. May you continue to rule the airwaves. I would have liked to think that they paid him to do this, but very likely he did it for free. Hot topics. Is Twilight Princess the best Zelda game ever? And a lot of people saying, oh, Zelda is the best thing since sliced bread. The other topic is, what retro game would you like to see on the virtual console? Starwing, Lilac Wars, Yoshi's Island, Paper Mario, Revenge of Shinobi, Super Mario RPG. Us Brits never got it, and I'd sure like to play. I think most of those were on the store. I didn't really use the virtual console. And then there's a poll. Are there too many Pokemon games? Yes, I would agree with that. Even though they said yes, it's still like Nintendo propaganda. There's too many badass Pokemon. Obviously you didn't select yes. Would you sell your Wii to make a profit? Well, the reason most people said no is they don't want to do the effort of it. By this time it was probably too late to do so. Is Minda more annoying than Tingle? No. What will you do if your GameCube now? Keep it, because if you sell it you're not going to make much money on it. Somebody says I'm keeping my GameCube for import games. This was interesting. The cover versions, they all look pretty good. I'm a pretty big Dragon Ball Z fan, so I love the DBZ Budokai Tenkaichi 2. What's Goku doing to our lovely logo? Vandal! I also love this Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. They're all great covers. Then you have the video fault. I think what it was, you needed a password to watch these trailers because you couldn't get that level of quality on YouTube at the time. It's another reason to buy the magazine. Unfortunately, the website doesn't exist. I'm sure you could find these videos on YouTube. Ohm Internet Dictionary. Baffled by curious words bandied about on the Ohm forum? Don't worry, every month we'll be explaining a few internet phrases. Roxer is a verb, a noun, to be very good. Zelda Roxer. So Zelda is very good. Suxer, the opposite of Roxer, is very bad, to suck. Rampage is to suxer, a heart. Symbol used to denote affection due to its resemblance of a heart. I guess this was the early days, now people didn't know what that meant. I used to think it was somebody's ass. Connect. This shows you how to connect your DS and your Wii. DS Wi-Fi Classics. I remember being annoyed because I didn't have internet. Metroid Prime Hunters. My friend at the time, he had like a demo cartridge for Metroid Prime Hunters, and I remember enjoying it so much, but I didn't have enough money for the game. Tony Hawk American Skateland, I have that game. It was alright. I completed it very quickly. They say free demos for all. They also recommend different routers to buy. This was in the early days when you had to buy your own router. Like nowadays, you go for an internet provider and they'll just give you their own router. Back then, I had a very slow router. You had to spend big money to get a good router. Here we have how to manipulate photos in the Photos channel. So it's essentially a worse version of Photoshop. How to use the forecast channel, how to send digital camera photos to friends. Didn't have any friends to send it to. Me Space, they could have picked better Miis. These are all very generic looking. There's only one me I actually like in this. Then they show how to download for the virtual console, talking about the Wii Points card. It tells you how much it costs to buy a game off each system. Then they show a few games that they recommend. Super Mario Bros. On the NES. This is why the Mario Bros. Series is so good. All those secrets to uncover. Yeah, it's alright. If you played one, you've played them all though. R-Type was unique because the levels themselves were as deadly as the enemies. We saw a picture like this in a biology textbook many years ago. Alien Crush. Those aren't alien lava, are they? Oh dear, we feel quite ill now. Military madness. Futuristic war on the moon will look a lot like this, apparently. And here was their competitions. I don't believe I won any of their competitions. But again, some of these buggers had the advantage of the internet and they could just look up all this rubbish. Despite what you see, some of these sections have boxes to fill in. You don't actually have to fill those in. You write your answers on a postcard and you send them off. I know the answers to all these. How well will you do? Pause the video and find out. Well, you won't find the answers, so that'll be in next issue's magazine. Then we have challenges. Prove you're a wee winner at GameCube Genius, a DS, Diva. There was one time they had one for Smash Bros. Brawl, and I sent off for it, I think, but I didn't win. I think somebody got a higher score. Yeah, so these are the rated Wii games. Obviously, this is early days. A lot of these titles are not very good. I'll talk about the ones I played. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, fantastic game. Red Steel, rated too high. Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz, yeah, I actually really like this game, and the mini games are a guilty pleasure of mine. The main game, you tilt with the Wiimote to control the ball and it works well. Monster 4x4 World Circuit, my cousin lent me this. As soon as I played it, I thought, this is the worst Wii game I've ever played. And to be fair, I can't actually think of one worse. It comes with a novelty controller, but this is slow, lacks any decent monster truck destruction, and is generally a very flat experience. Yeah, sounds pretty accurate. WarioWare Smooth Moves, fantastic game. Wii Play and Wii Sports got rated a bit too highly. Let's see what the other people said about this. Red Steel is possibly one of the most overrated launch games ever. With all the hype surrounding it and the promises it would be a Class A game, and it turns out to be an average FPS. Its sword fights redeem it slightly, 70% is about right, agreed. Why do you always give extremely high percentages to Zelda games? I like Zelda games, but I think you rate them a bit too highly. Zelda Princess is a good game, but worth about 93%, not 97%. There's 4% there. It doesn't matter. I used to be like this, I used to get all nitty gritty about the percentages, but look, once a game reaches 90, it doesn't matter how high it goes. Wii Play, this game is being overhyped and underdelivered. Wii Play is a small collection of average games that has virtually no replay value. I would disagree with that. I say they have a lot of replay value. Even now and again, me and Mark the Nitpicker go back and play them. They're not masterpieces, but they're fun. Then we have the rated DS games. I will go through the ones that I've played. Advance Wars Dual Strike. Yeah, that was a pretty great game. I never finished it though. It's a cartoony strategy game. Animal Crossing Wild World. I'm not a big Animal Crossing guy, but from what I played, it was good. Project Rob. I played a little bit of this one and I enjoyed it. The mini games were interesting. Electroplankton. I remember my friend's sister had this game and she played it and it looked really weird. Sonic Rush. Yeah, I really liked Sonic Rush. Fast 2D sections. Super Mario 64 DS. A lot of people complain about there's no thumbstick to control the characters. I played it a long time ago and this didn't bother me at all. I just used the arrows and I had no problems. And the minigames are pretty good too. So I remember thinking back that this should have got in the 90s. 89, a bit stingy. Super Monkey Ball Touch and Roll. I remember playing multiplayer in this. It was a lot of fun with a few other DS owners. FIFA 06, yeah, the handheld football games just weren't great. Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, never played it, but it was one I really wanted to get, didn't have the money. Tony Hawk American Skateland, I must have got this on an offer years later. Mario Kart DS, I think it had like a bunch of driving mini games. Micro Machines V4, yeah, that was a really good game. I played the single player of it and it was as hard as nails controlling the tiny micro machine, but it was great crack. New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, that was rated way too high. That should have been in the 80s. Yes, this was the first game in the new Super Mario Bros. Series, but these games, like, they're not the hardest games to make. It didn't go above and beyond. I think this is a bit of Nintendo bias going on with this one. Nintendo Dogs, I really did enjoy Nintendo Dogs. A lot of people shit on it now. I remember, it was funny, I had a real dog and I just lost interest in the dog and was more interested in the virtual dog for a while. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Let's see what the people said. Super Mario 64 DS deserves a lot more than 89%. So what if the controls aren't perfect at the touchscreen? It works just fine on the D-pad. There are 30 more stars to collect too. Advance Wars Dual Strike, I think this is the perfect DS game. So what if it doesn't make use of the DS capabilities? It improves in the series in every other way. Forget Mario and Animal Crossing. This is the best DS game. You know it's worth 97%. Then why did they give it 90? Rated GameCube games. F-Zero, 92%. Pretty great game. Probably the fastest racer ever. F-Zero GX will melt your brain as you race through futuristic landscapes, including 29 vehicles. Mario Kart Double Dash, another great game. 2 players in 1 kart. Idea may be controversial, but this is still a hectic, enjoyable racer. I probably would have rated it in the 80s because it's so short. Metroid Prime, pretty great game. I never completed it, but from when I played it was pretty awesome. Resident Evil 4, I played the Wii version. Some people say that is the definitive version because it's very natural to point and click with the Wiimote. Soul Calibur 2, I played multiplayer in this one a lot. I'm not a fighting game guy, but I picked up this one because Link was in it, and yeah, it's a pretty solid fighting game, and it definitely has one of the best graphics on the GameCube that I've seen. They could certainly pass for being on the Wii or an early HD game. Super Mario Sunshine, 92%, a bit high. I would have rated it a little lower. Not one of my favorites, but it's a decent game. Super Smash Bros. Melee, yes, this was the game that got me into the GameCube. I remember just being addicted to playing the game as Pikachu, and since then I never looked back. Time Splitters 2. Time Splitters 2 is a great game. I would have rated it higher. It's a huge time traveling shooter that you gun down cowboys, gangsters and soldiers. Multiplayer is superb. The co-op is really great in that game. Beautiful Joe, another great game. Joe's first outing is still the best. He enters a bizarre world of action movies and crazy kung fu, and it looks beautiful too. And we have games on the Game Boy Advance. The only Game Boy Advance game here I played was Pokemon Ruby, my favourite Pokemon game. I would have rated it in the high 90s. Bigger than ever, over 100 Pokemon and 4-player battles. Not to mention a much needed graphical facelift over the original games. Great! And don't forget the trumpets and the water. I like the water, like going to all the islands. I thought that was pretty cool. Unlike what IGN said, too much water. Disagree for our GameCube list. Super Smash Bros. Melee is amazing. I played it since 2003 and have not got bored of it or completed it. How could something fabulous in every way only get 90%? I think I agree with the readers more than the actual professional reviewers. A to Z based on Nintendo, so this is everything beginning with M to do with Nintendo. I don't know why John Madden is here. Metal Gear, the series for people who have time to watch 4-hour cutscenes. Yeah, pretty much. Mega Man never ages, even though he's been around for years. Lucky get. The face that launched 1,000 games. It's a Mario. That was my in-depth look at the official Nintendo magazine, but I'm not done yet because next week I will be covering the last issue I have, Nintendo Magazine 106, which is a lot different from this one. Thanks for watching. Hello guys, hope you're having a fantastic day. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and to subscribe for more videos.